That's a good question. Sorry, I didn't realize that you were going to interrogate me. I didn't realize I was going to get grilled.
No, it's just the start of what we're talking about.
Okay. I don't know. Let me circle back to you on that.
Big circle back guy.
Yeah.
I was just mainly curious. Like, would you go on a cross country trip in a Winnebago or in a motorhome?
Yeah,
whatever?
depending on the company. Yeah.
Like the company, like the quality of the motorhome?
No, child. The people that I was with. Yes.
Oh, gotcha. Okay, by yourself? Would you go by yourself?
No.
Yeah, that'd be terrible, wouldn't it?
Yeah, I mean, I think
you
it'd
go
be
with your
cool for
girlfriend?
like a couple days. Yeah.
Okay, good answer.
Yeah.
Good answer. All right. Welcome to the locker room. I'm your host, Justin Reed, alongside Andrew Tenney, who would go in a motorhome cross country with his girlfriend.
That's right.
When she doesn't watch the show.
Yeah, she actually does.
She does?
Yeah.
Is she watching right now?
That's a good question. I don't know. She might be running. She runs.
Okay, fair enough. Checks out. All right, we got a nice, fun show here. Locker room number 38, the Max Strong edition.
Nice.
Yeah.
I was going to make a comment about Sean Alexander. Actually, no. Last week I was going to make a joke like, the Trey Flowers episode because he started off like his rookie season.
He was 37.
As 37.
Yeah.
And he's like, I don't want to like carry the weight of a Seattle legend. And I was like, it's a little dramatic, but like fine.
I mean, it makes sense, I guess. Maybe it worked out his second year. He actually played pretty well. But
yeah, I know. Large regression. Large regression.
So we have the NCAA tournament, that thing called March Madness, in full swing. It's been probably the worst 3 days of my life. I like this lull between the round of 32 and the Sweet 16 is terrible.
Withdrawals.
I have no idea what I'm supposed to be doing
bad.
at night.
Also, how did you deal with the changing of the schedule and watching?
I don't like it.
Yeah, the Monday. See, I kind of had my reservations about it, and you seem to think that they had to do it.
I think they I think they did. I think it's a little bit. It's I don't know, because at this point, 4 years ago at least, they were already in the Elite Eight as of like yesterday.
So this isn't a 2019 to 2021 change. It's.
I think this. I don't know. I don't really know what they're doing. Whatever it is, it's frustrating me.
Okay.
But we'll talk some Bulldogs here. The team equivalent of a screwdriver. They just continue to turn, and just dominate you. Because it felt like kind of a close game, a little bit against Oklahoma, at least in my opinion. Like I just always felt like, God, they're really sticking around. A lot of that had to do with Austin Reeves putting up 27, whatever.
He was playing with
out of his mind.
He was playing like he had something to prove. Like he was
freaking
pissed.
mind.
Yeah,
it was ridiculous.
It was honestly really impressive.
But the Zags still ended up winning by double digits and
Yeah.
made it look easy. They won by 17. They covered, or 16. They covered the spread.
Timmy had a
30.
Gonzaga record high in points for the tournament.
First time ever, 30-plus points and 10-plus rebounds in GU tournament history, which is surprising because they've had a lot of powerful big men in that tournament, including Casey Calvary, Kelly Olynyk, Kyle Wiltshire, who wasn't really a big rebounder, I guess.
Right.
But guys who could have done it in the past, but Drew Timme was the first one ever to do it.
You see Nigel Williams-Goss and Kyle Wiltshire both taking to Twitter talking about how they want to apply to be a part of the coaching staff or whatever when they're eligible for Gonzaga.
I
they want to
tweeted
get back
about
in the
it
mix.
because it's pretty funny. They said in 2031 when they want to apply for it, but it was Nigel started it off, or sorry, Kyle Wiltshire started it off. Nigel responded, Jeremy Jones responded. And then I tweeted, like, Tommy Lloyd's going to have a really nice coaching staff in 2031 when that all comes together. It's nice to see. Then this happens every tournament where these former players come back and they really start getting involved with what's going on. We saw it really happen in the Final Four run down in Phoenix when there were like 35, 40 GU players who ended up coming down, like had a massive reunion for the Final Four, which was really cool. So if that happens again, we'll see. Hopefully I'll be down there for the Final Four. We'll see. Also,
that would be really cool. Yeah,
that would be nice. But they're 4 wins away from a perfect national championship winning season.
Boy, when you say that, that sounds like a lot.
It is a lot.
4 wins is a lot.
4 wins against 4 top talented teams. They got to go through Creighton here on Sunday.
Did you know that Creighton's never made a Sweet 16? Or at least in the current iteration of the tournament? Wouldn't you have guessed, like, during the Dougie McBuckets years that they had gotten? But no, they only got to the round of 32.
That's interesting.
I know. I was really surprised to hear that.
Well, because you look at what BYU did with Jimmer Fredette, and Jimmer Fredette was essentially a Doug McDermott.
Yeah.
But in Mormon fashion.
Nice.
Instead of a Jesuit.
And shorter fashion.
Right.
Also, guess how many NCAA tournament wins Shaka Smart has had since their Final Four run in 2011, I think it was.
2011, I'm going to say 2.
0.
He hasn't won 1?
Guess how many conference titles he's had as a coach since that year?
1?
0.
Really?
So, yeah, Texas. I mean, Texas has got it rough. Like, the football's not great. Basketball, obviously not great. They keep bringing in, coaches from like smaller programs that have really built up these smaller programs and made them relevant and everything. And then they come in, and you would think that with the talent pool that Texas still in 2021 has to choose from, that they'd be able to put something together. But really kind of embarrassing bounce by, was it Abilene Christian that knocked him off?
Yeah. Yeah, that wasn't good. I mean, Texas looked bad during that game, too.
Yeah,
and that's crazy because people bend over backwards to praise Shaka Smart. But if he hasn't won a tournament game or even a conference title in 10 years, that's not good.
No, it's not.
And I did not know that. That's really interesting.
It might be because he's let his hair grow out. I mean, is it time to shave the head again?
Yes. Oh, for sure.
I also didn't realize that he was capable of, like, getting that.
I didn't either. Like, that's a thick mane of hair.
No, it is.
Thick little ball of hair up there. So a couple fun stats about GU so far. They've made 88% of their free throws so far in this tournament, which is big. That was a semi-weakness coming into the tournament. Drew Timme knocked down, I think, 10 of 12 in the round of 32 game against Oklahoma, which ended up being very big as well, both for himself because he was able to hit that 30-point mark. Another thing, and we've talked about this actually a few different times, Antoine Watson showing up.
Yeah.
I mean, he's really shown up these two games by – just being more physical and more aggressive. And that's, again, we mentioned this on the show. That's all he needs to do. He's a talented kid. If he plays with confidence and he attacks the rim and he just believes in his abilities, he's going to play well. And he had an amazing first-round game. And this last game, he still was also, he played a big part. Drew Timme kind of stole the limelight.
Of course, yeah.
And even, GU's done this with, not needing a lot of help from either Jalen Suggs or Corey Kispert. And I think that just shows you how dangerous they can be. We already mentioned the fact that Timme had a massive game. He was thrilled. His mustache story is going viral again.
Of course it is, yeah.
But this is what happens, and it's really funny, and I've talked about this to people before. The problem with the media coverage of GU this year hasn't been as bad, but usually what happens is nobody talks about the Zags nationally until they do something in the NCAA tournament. And
they lose, and then they dogpile on the fact that, GU does this every year, and they're not actually built for it, and all these things.
And then I see these stories, and it's like the spokesman reported on this 4 months ago. And it's like you guys are just now catching up to all of this, of what's going on. GU has now made 6 straight Sweet 16s, the longest in the nation. They kind of overcame that stretch between 2010 and 2015 where they lost a lot in the first and second round. Kind of a bad little stretch for them there. In the game against Oklahoma, they shot 49.1% from the floor.
And wasn't that their worst of the season?
That was their worst shooting performance of the season, which, first of all, shooting 49% from the field is awesome. That's really good.
Especially at the college level. I mean, there are so many rock fights going on. It's like I understand the complaints about, especially if you're like an NBA snob and that's the only basketball that you consume, because the shot making in the NBA, honestly, and in this era of the NBA is spectacular, and honestly is probably taken for granted a lot. But like when you regress down to the college game and you're watching some of these just back iron after back iron, and it's just like, oh my goodness, it can be like there have been so many scoring droughts for both teams in so many of the games over the past weekend.
Right. Yeah. Oh yeah. And there's just a lot of dirty, not as in like bad, as in
cheap
bad cheap play, but like there's just poor play coming from some of these top teams, and you're seeing that with the teams who made the Sweet 16. A lot of fun stats out there about this is like the highest average seed making the Sweet 16 in like 40 years or something ridiculous, and
came out to like double-digit seeds. I think.
It's been a very mad March Madness. So that shooting percentage, 49.1%. I do want to point out the fact they still scored 98 points.
Yeah, they did 7. Jesus, did you watch the game?
No, that was the first
was
game.
the margin of victory 17 points?
They did not. They scored 98 in the first round game.
Okay.
They scored. What
87?
87? I think 87. That sounds right.
Okay.
You think? I don't watch the games.
Clearly.
So the other thing, now that we'll talk some more predictions here coming up as far as the bracket goes. Again, they do play Creighton on Sunday morning. Let's talk a little bit about some recruiting going on.
It was 87. I would love to, but before we do that, can I tell you a little something about a little birdie?
Yeah, something's kind of tweeting in my ear here. It's you wanting to talk about an awesome company here.
Got to shout out and show our love to one of our favorite presenting sponsors, and that is Lucky Bird, our Spokane-based e-commerce and digital marketing company dedicated to helping local companies scale in the online world of e-commerce and digital marketing. So we want you guys to check out luckybirdbrands.com untitled.com to have a down-to-earth, no-pressure conversation about your digital marketing and e-commerce strategies today.
Love it.
Yeah.
We forgot about him.
You did.
I didn't.
Gun's been cocked.
I've
been ready to fire.
Nope.
For like 5 minutes now. It's fine.
Also,
mistake. Yeah, the Zags scored 87 against Oklahoma.
That sounds better. So the other couple things I do want to point out real quick about the Zags. Ken Pomeroy, who runs.
Dude, everybody's just
I love his stats right now.
I feel like he's blown up this year. Maybe I just wasn't paying attention in the previous NCAA seasons. But
maybe a little bit, just because. Well, what's happening though too is in the past, a lot of people were talking about his statistics without actually saying Ken Pom. Turner and CBS broadcasters are not giving him credit a lot of the time, and he even called them out on Twitter a couple days ago. Like, he actually was upset. He's like,
good.
He's like, advanced analytics don't just come from watching the games. Like, there's a lot of calculations that go into this. And to get those calculations, you have to use people's formulas, and these are my formulas. So, like, it'd be cool if you gave me some credit. So he has the Zags. This was before the NCAA tournament. He had them winning at a 34.4% chance to win the NCAA tournament. Now, that doesn't sound super large because that still means there's a 65.6% chance that they lose. But for comparison, he gave Virginia a 21.4% chance to win in 2019.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I thought you were going to say this year.
Yeah, no, definitely not this year. In 2018, no team cracked 20%. In 2016, nobody cracked 16%. And in this model, the Kentucky team that entered the tournament at 34-0 had a 33.8% chance of winning. GU, like I said, is at 34.4. They just, I mean, they have the most efficient offense since Duke in 2008. They have a defense that's only gotten better as the year's gone on. Top 10 offense, top 10 defense. And now they're looking at adding a number 1 overall recruit in Chet Holmgren coming from Minnehaha Academy, exactly where Jalen Suggs came from. If Chet doesn't go overseas or to the G League, he's coming to GU. If he goes to college, he will be a Bulldog come next season. The big news, though, that happened this morning, Hunter Salas, the top 10, I think it's top 7, actually, top 5 recruit, somewhere in there, who decommitted from Kentucky, is actually making his announcement tomorrow morning. So set those alarms. 7 a.m. Pacific time. That'll be fun. He'll become Zags' highest ever recruit, even over Jalen Suggs, until Chet eventually, I think, picks GU. So it'll be fun. A couple people also are looking to transfer to GU next season, including Walker Kessler and I don't even know what this guy's name is. It's a very funny name. Tubbs. Something Tubbs.
Hilarious.
Or Fatty or something. Honestly, it has something to do with that.
Well,
I have to figure that.
Yeah, let me know about that, because if it is Fatty, that's something.
He's from Rhode Island. He went to Rhode Island. I'm not going to find his name.
But moral of the story is that GU
are going to be national title contenders again
perennially.
Next year, which is really awesome to see. So looking at the bracket here, we have if we want to start on Saturday, that's fine. Saturday
the unfortunate day game. Yeah, I was telling you before we came on air, is like the discrepancy, at least for me personally, in interest of the games between Saturday and Sunday is like huge.
Yeah.
I mean, so you got Oregon State and Loyola Chicago. Obviously, Loyola Chicago, arguably one of the poster childs, one of the stories of the tournament, along with Oral Roberts. But because of, what is his name? I screw it up every time. The balding dude with a mustache that has an incredible game, incredible fundamentals, technique, and he's just really unathletic, but he's awesome.
Crutwig.
Crutwig, that's right. Cameron Crutwig.
He was a freshman when Loyola Chicago went to the Final Four 4 years ago.
Yeah, you think he's bolstering his lottery stock for the draft?
Yeah. What's really unfortunate is 20 years ago, there's a possibility, because his
100%.
talent in the key is ridiculous. Like, he has such a smooth left hand. He likes to roll over that right shoulder. And what's really interesting is you see a lot of guys when this was my right, because I'm right-handed. You see a lot of guys kind of follow through, like when they do kind of those shots. But he goes like this, and like he stops like right here. He lofts it there, but it's actually kind of pretty.
That was something that
He's not pretty, but his play's pretty pretty.
I love him as a person. He is beautiful to me.
Oh yeah, for sure.
One of the things that I really enjoyed was the couple schools. I mean, especially with Loyola Chicago and Oral Roberts, I liked seeing critical possessions feeding the big man in the post, knowing that that is your most talented player, your most skilled player. Get him the ball. Let's not do any of this ISO crap, like 5 feet beyond the arc and then, take a step back three, like we see in the NBA all the time. And we do see that in college. And there have been a lot of possessions over the tournament that have resulted in that play. But there's just been a lot more actual running of plays and a little bit more execution, and teams just actually kind of knowing what they need to do and what they should do given their personnel and given just the strengths of their team. So it was nice to have a return of the big men in sorts, because I don't remember the name, but Oral Roberts was doing that in their first game a lot down the stretch, was feeding him. I don't remember what the guy's name is. But anyway, it was nice to see big men actually getting the ball and not everybody just chucking up threes.
Right. Who's going to win that game? Oregon State, Loyola Chicago. Wayne Tinkle in Oregon State or Cameron Crutwig in Loyola Chicago?
Dude, I kind of like the Beavs.
They've been playing really well.
They've been playing really well. And they're arguably one of the hottest teams in the nation. Obviously, once the tournament rolls around, everybody looks to the performances in the conference championships and the conference tournaments and everything, and they were coming off that win. I like the Beavers, but I'm going
to go the Ramblers.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm going to go Loyola Chicago. I really like what they did against Illinois. I mean, they dominated Illinois the entire game. They kept them at arm's length the entire time.
They
really
outclassed
shut down
them.
They
absolutely outclassed them.
It was very ridiculous. All right, what's next?
Villanova and Baylor. I'm going to go with Baylor. To be honest, I'm surprised. Villanova kind of got like an easy hand in their second game, but I was surprised that they were even able to beat Winthrop. Well, to be honest, I thought Winthrop was, kind of a sexy pick there, just given the...
A lot of people had Winthrop.
Yeah.
I didn't, but...
Yeah, Baylor's really damn good.
Baylor is good. The issue with Baylor is just consistency. Being able to, for 40 minutes, play their style of basketball. And Wisconsin bugged them a little bit there, but Baylor is a better basketball team than Villanova, and Baylor will win that game.
Is it Davion Mitchell? Davion Mitchell? That guy. Yeah. I like the way he plays. He's intense. He is annoying.
Those guards are good.
Big Cat, obviously, pardon my take, Wisconsin graduate. I saw him on Twitter. He was like, okay, this isn't fair. Baylor's just trying too hard on defense. Right. And that's what it looks like. They locked Wisconsin down. I mean, they couldn't get any breathing room, especially in the first half. But, yeah, I like Baylor.
Nice. Yeah, me as well. By the way, if you are watching this show and you want to get involved a little bit, feel free to comment. Give us some things to talk about. Tell us your bad takes.
Comments, questions, obscene gestures,
whatever
all
you
welcomed.
Want. Everything is welcome.
Mm-hmm.
Everything is welcome. All right, what's next?
We got Oral Roberts 15 versus number 3 Arkansas.
God, Oral Roberts has been playing really well in Arkansas.
Has also been playing really well.
Yeah. Texas Tech is a hard 6 team to face, 6-seeded team to face. I mean, Arkansas is going to win this. I mean, I know Oral Roberts has had an awesome run beating Ohio State. They barely beat Florida. Florida was also a better 7-seeded team than I thought, but I just don't see this 15 seed advancing to the Elite 8.
I don't either, and there's no shame in that. And this is kind of the part of the tournament where if you have some of the higher seeds that did get there and had like an impressive first weekend, where you kind of have to juggle, okay, do I really want to see Oral Roberts get all the way to the Final Four, or is this kind of their time to appropriately exit? They made their statement. Yeah, they got their respect, and yes, let's let the superior team move on. So, yeah, I also like Arkansas. It's just weird for me seeing Arkansas as a 3 seed in basketball for something about, the visual, the optics of, that Razorback relevant in basketball is strange to me.
Yep. All right. Who's next that's not named?
All right. We got Syracuse and Houston, and it's got to be the Cuse. The zone. The zone is back in a big bad way, and the Boeheims are I don't know what you can. No? You want to push back a little bit? Because Houston did not.
No, they
did not play super well in their last game.
No, and Buddy Boeheim, which we'll talk a little bit about him later as well, then that Syracuse team could really stroke it. I'm a little surprised that they're playing this well. Their zone, which is always problematic for a lot of teams coming into this tournament, wasn't all that impressive. Syracuse barely even got into the tournament.
No, I know.
And people were kind of upset that they did over some other teams. But they've kind of answered that.
They've absolutely proven they should have been a tournament team. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, they did really well against West Virginia and everything that West Virginia does, even though West Virginia's offense has been better than their defense this year.
I was going to say this year they're not so much press Virginia, it's more offense.
Right. More off Virginia. There's nothing really. Press Virginia sounds nice and smooth.
You must be flexible because you stretch a lot.
I need to stretch more, I think, actually.
I don't know if you picked up on that or not.
No, I didn't, but it's fine. Dude, just let it go, man.
Okay.
Just let it go.
Okay, it's gone.
So yeah,
I like Syracuse. I just think they're hot, and honestly, just watching teams literally mentally break down in trying to figure out the zone.
Right.
It's kind of comical, honestly.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Houston. Just be different.
Okay.
But I do like Syracuse. I think the Orange have done a good job.
Okay.
What a stupid. I mean, the Orange, whatever.
The Orange.
It's
I kind of like it. I kind of like it. I can only imagine who you're going to pick in this 5v1 matchup on Sunday. First game of the day is going to be Creighton versus Gonzaga. Is there anything that actually stresses you out about this game? Is there any sort of
Creighton can also
hesitation?
Creighton also has a decent offense. They can really get hot. But I mean, honestly, GU should be. I mean, they're favored. I don't know what the line is right now. Let's see if I can find it here.
Their line against Norfolk State was like 33.
Yeah, I think it was more. I think it was 37.
Did it end up getting to that? Oh, okay. I saw it 33.
It was like the largest spread over the last, I don't even know how long.
Wild.
Yeah, it's very wild. But, I mean, there's just no reason why they should lose, right? I mean, why would they?
Unless they just absolutely have a horrendous day shooting.
Well, they need to have a bad day, and they need Creighton to have a perfect day.
That's also true.
The only way the Zags are going to lose this season is if GU plays poorly for 40 minutes and the other team plays well for 40 minutes, and that I just don't see that happening. BYU did it for 15 minutes.
No, you're totally right.
And they still dominated BYU in the end. Oklahoma was pestering the Zags for 40 minutes and played probably their best game of the season, and they still won by 17.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, I think that's the craziest part looking at everything here.
Yeah, so we feel pretty confident about that. They'll be able to get a hopefully easy walk to the Elite Eight.
The line right now in Vegas is Zags by 13 in a Sweet 16 game.
Okay.
Over under at 158. That seems low. Well, no, that's probably
two decent offenses. Yeah.
Nah, not that low, I guess. Maybe like 170, 90 and 80. Whatever. It's close.
Yeah,
Zags win and advance to the Elite Eight.
So then we got Florida State versus Michigan. Michigan was having a tough time for a large part of that game with LSU.
I had Michigan
like
State
Florida State
losing
too.
last round, actually, against LSU.
So, yeah.
And Florida State, I'm terrified of Florida State and Texas Tech.
Dude, over the past like 5 years, their pedigree in the NCAA tournament has honestly been super impressive. They always have 5 just like super athletes with like crazy just genetic compositions.
Oh, like it's ridiculous.
Yeah, I kind of like Florida State too. I mean, Michigan, I don't know. I'm also just kind of like anti-Big Ten just because like the entire year is like, oh, Big Ten is by far and away the best conference. And I think they were in this calendar college basketball season. But obviously they have not fared well in the tournament. And I don't know. I'm kind of I like Florida State.
Do you like Juwan Howard as the head coach?
I do.
Okay.
I do. I understand. Well, I don't understand. I don't know. It's hard to say because like that little tiff that he got into with Illinois head coach, like I don't know what was said. We don't know what was said. I don't know if it was rational for Juwan to react the way that he did. Who knows? Illinois' coach could have said something that actually warranted that sort of response. So I'm not going to like speculate and act like I know what happened. But I do like Juwan. I think it's good for Michigan. I think it's good for the NCAA.
Cool.
And then we got 11 seeded UCLA and Alabama. So my bracket is awful, just like about everybody else's. However, my two little
which I just found out today.
Yeah,
96%.
I'm glad I had you check that.
Yeah, thanks. I really appreciate it.
But I do have UCLA and USC in the Sweet 16, so I did. I picked both of them. But anyway, UCLA and Alabama. Alabama absolutely
torched,
steamrolled.
Oh my God, they're shooting. There was a stretch. I didn't watch much of that Alabama-Maryland game, but the stretch that I did watch, Alabama hit like 5 threes in a row.
Yeah,
and just.
Alabama's another strange school to see, just because SEC football school, strange, but I think strange. Alabama's probably going to get this one out.
Yeah,
I could see it being a good game. I mean, UCLA has been playing really well. Maybe it'll be competitive.
We're not going to be back before the Elite Eight's done.
No, we're not.
Let's quickly pick those because we just want to. Wait, there's one more. We have USC Oregon left.
I like Oregon. Oregon was underseeded or overseeded?
See, it's tricky. It's tricky. I don't know how to say it either.
I know. I don't either.
They should
I
have
don't know what the
seeded
technicality is, but
a lower number
because they were injured, from what I understand, for like the majority of the year. And the team that they're putting out on the court obviously is proving to be a very high caliber basketball team, and that's just not the team that they had for the majority of the season.
They were well rested without having to play VCU.
Well said.
But yeah, USC also has been putting on a show. They absolutely torched Kansas by 34.
And I actually had them beating EWU, but it's fine.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
Shout out the Groves.
Yeah, the Groves, that did have a very good first round game. All right, let's go. Do we have anything after? We have Library Out Loud at 11? All right, we'll go a few. I have a meeting at 11:30, so we'll go a few over here because I do want to talk about these Elite 8 matchups then. And we'll just go. We'll start in the. We'll start over here in the East, starting with the. I'm gonna go. Yeah, Arkansas, Baylor. That's probably.
I think so.
What the matchup
Yeah.
is gonna be. Baylor. I think we'll take that one.
I think Baylor's going to get to the Final Four.
One.
Yeah.
Baylor should be a Final Four team.
They should. Agreed.
Perfect. The one. So we did have a little bit of difference here. It's either going to be. Actually, we both picked different teams here. So who advances for you between Syracuse and Oregon State?
I like Oregon State. I've watched maybe more Oregon
Number 12
State
seed Oregon State making a
Final
Four?
Dude, I don't know. They're awesome.
Right.
They just got guys that,
No,
as you would say, can stroke it.
Well, I mean, best case, it's a 2 seed. Worst case, it's a 12 seed. But there's an 11, 12, or an 8 who have a very good shot of making a Final Four in this region. So it's not really that outlandish to say a 12 seed. I have Houston, Loyola, Chicago advancing to the Elite 8. I think Houston, just based off of their talent and their athleticism, will be better. So I have Houston going to the Final Four there.
Okay.
And originally I had, obviously, like most people, I had Illinois coming out of that region. But that obviously didn't happen.
Okay. I'm not going to offer you a counter. However, I will just say that I do not think Houston will get to the Final Four.
If you had to pick between Houston and Loyola Chicago.
Loyola Chicago.
Really? So you're really high on the Loyola Chicago.
I'm out on
State
Houston. Yeah,
side.
I'm out on Houston.
Okay.
Listen to a couple podcasts, and all of a sudden I know everything about Houston. So
what if it was Syracuse, Loyola Chicago?
Man.
That's a
Loyola Chicago.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you really are in on that pod of Loyola Chicago and Oregon State.
Yeah.
That's
How
fair.
could you not be?
No, for sure. They've been playing out of their minds. Moving down here, we will have Florida State against Alabama. Wait, did you pick UCLA? No, you didn't.
No, I picked Alabama.
Okay, Alabama against Florida State.
Dude, I don't know. I like Florida State.
Florida State's tough. I'm going to say Alabama just because
Okay.
I have them in my Final Four, but it
Okay.
would not surprise me in the absolute slightest to see Florida State. God, I would hate that, though. I'd rather play any 4 of those teams other than Florida State in the Final Four.
Exactly. To see
anybody else.
The fact that you say that is exactly kind of the reason
Right.
why I think Florida State's a good
And
pick
their
there.
head coach is a monster.
Oh,
He's an aggressive guy.
He's a dude's dude.
Yeah, you want to play for him. Then we have the Zags against I don't know if I ever said for sure if I'm picking USC or Oregon, but I'd also pick Oregon, by the way.
Okay.
So we have Zags against Oregon, which is the matchup everybody wanted to see in the national championship in 2017. Before
That would have been
UNC
so cool. Yeah, especially
ruined it.
Neil Everett.
Yeah, it would have been so sick.
Oregon grad, always reps, on
So
SportsCenter.
this will be
America's
fun.
team.
Hopefully that happens because I would like to see the Neil Everett discussion
Yeah, that would
happen
be cool.
over the Zags and Oregon.
But that still gives me like a lot of anxiety for Gonzaga.
Oh, for
I
sure.
mean, especially we'll see if Oregon ends up
We
making
match
out
up
of that
better to
game.
Oregon,
But
though, because USC is massive.
you think true?
USC goes 6'8", 6'10", and 7 as their 3-4-5.
That's a good point.
That's a massive team. I think
And
the matchup
Mobley's
getter
been
against
playing
Oregon.
super well.
The Mobleys.
The
have been
Mobleys,
playing
true,
very, very
plural.
well. Isaiah. It's Isaiah, right? Isaiah
Isaiah is the younger brother. Or, Evan's older, the draft prospect, and then Isaiah's the
I don't
younger
know
one.
who's older. But I know there's two
I
of
don't
them.
know who's older, but sorry, in terms of like
Isaiah
their
and Evan.
prospect as, a
Perfect.
pro.
All right, so those are our Final Four picks. I have GU. We have Florida State. We have Baylor. I have Houston. You have Oregon State.
I think so, yeah. That
All right,
sounds weird to say out
that's
loud,
our
but I think so.
That is a little
Yeah.
weird to say out loud. But what, Saturday is Final Four then? Next week?
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
So we'll talk more Final Four then when that comes around.
Yes,
that was
sir.
our NCAA bracket challenge talk. So what you don't know what percentage your bracket's
Our
at, though?
revisionist bracket. No, I'm cool, and I print
I'm at
brackets out.
92.1%. That's not bad.
No,
I'm
that's
really
not bad at all.
surprised.
Good for you.
Yeah, I'm actually pretty happy about
Do you
that.
like cover college basketball or something?
No, never.
Oh.
Never talked about it in my life. All right, well, first I do want to mention one thing before we jump into some NBA just because they're live right now. But the United States men's national team, I think one of their first professional games of the year is a friendly right now against Jamaica. If you weren't watching us, I would say go tune into ESPN2 in the 15th minute. I will interrupt you, by the way. If you're talking and they score, I will yell goal.
Perfect.
At any point.
Okay.
But that is on ESPN2. They are actually playing this game in Austria, which is really interesting. So that's deep in the European continent. So I wonder if on their way over to Europe, if they went mahi-mahi fishing off the Atlantic coast. Because there's only a couple places in the world you can actually find mahi-mahi. Most places in the Pacific and off the Atlantic coast, in case you were curious. Have you ever been deep sea
This is why
fishing?
I asked you about the stretching. No, I have not. Sounds like a great time.
It is a good time. Definitely recommend it. All right. NBA trade deadline happens in a little over an hour here.
Yeah.
Things are flying around this morning. We've had a lot of movement between teams. I'm just going to go down the list here right now because there's so much going on. Right now, the report is that Kyle Lowry is still trying to be moved. 76ers are no longer pursuing them or him after they made a move earlier, which we'll get to. But the Heat, Lakers, and now the Clippers are in the mix for Kyle Lowry. That's interesting. But I think that he fits on any of those teams, obviously. Lakers need, I think, a guard.
And it's weird, too, because apparently from what I understand, the Raptors organization is split on whether they want to deal Lowry or not. And I kind of don't understand why they wouldn't, because his value is not going to be higher, again, than it is right now. And if you're retooling, not necessarily like resetting or like, building from scratch, I don't know why you wouldn't try to obtain all the assets that you can, given his stock right now.
Right. I think some of it, though, is because it wasn't just this offseason where he came out and said, I don't want to leave Toronto. Like, this is my home.
Well, so I think that it's a rare case where they actually, there's such a mutual respect that if there is an ideal situation for Kyle to go to that is also going to simultaneously benefit Masai and the Raptors, I think they both want to get that done.
Probably.
However, that seems like, kind of a tall order.
Yeah. We'll see what happens. Again, they have just over an hour to get that one done. Trailblazers move on from Gary Trent and Rodney Hood and acquire Norm Powell from Toronto. Toronto is being very active.
Norm Powell's been playing really well this season.
Powell, he is in his sixth year. Yeah,
I think he's like his 6th or 7th year.
Out of UCLA. He's having his best season yet, averaging almost 20 points a game. Which is actually, for a guy who before that his previous career high was last season at 16. Before that was all under 10. But I've seen just this morning people talking about how he might be kind of the diamond in the rough at this trade deadline. I know he's scoring 20 points a game, but I think he has a lot of upside is what people are saying, as well as the fact that they were able to get him for Gary Trent and Rodney Hood, both players who are valuable role players, but are guys who, again, they'll never be more than just a role player.
Right.
Norm Powell could be a starter for a championship team.
Oh, absolutely, and he'd be a great sixth man too. I remember in Boston's second round series against Toronto over the summer, Norman Powell, had many good games. He can create his own shot. He can, spot up, he can catch and shoot, and he can drive. He can do a little bit of everything. He's had a really impressive development since he's been in the league. I like it. I knew that he was highly coveted by a few teams, and it's cool to see. We'll see what the Blazers are able to do with him.
Then another one, Philadelphia is acquiring OKC's George Hill for Tony Bradley and Terrence Ferguson and 2 future second-round picks. Austin Rivers goes to OKC as part of a 3-way deal with with the Sixers. Yes.
Okay.
Sixers get Hill and Knicks forward Ignas Brazdeikis. The Knicks get 76er swingman Terrence Ferguson, and the Thunder get Knicks' guard Austin Rivers, Tony Bradley, and the 2 second-round picks. A lot going on there.
Yep.
Not much really. I mean, the best part of that is probably George Hill, and the probably best parts are the second-round draft picks in that trade.
Yeah.
Heat get no one important. We're not even going to go over that one. Big one, though, is Orlando did decide to trade Aaron Gordon. The Nuggets, who I don't remember really...
Whoa. Did they? Aaron Gordon or Vucevic?
No, Aaron Gordon's going to the Nuggets.
Oh,
you didn't know that?
No.
Oh, yeah, surprise.
God.
Yeah, so Gary Harris,
Damn
RJ
it.
Hampton, and a first-round pick.
And they got JaVale McGee, too.
Yeah.
Damn it.
JaVale
okay.
McGee's going to be a nice big to come off. But
Right.
now you have Jokic and Aaron Gordon starting alongside the other loaded parts of that.
That's going to help them a lot defensively, too. His
Yeah.
Versatility on defense kind of
shot blocking
be
ability and
that
everything.
3 to 4 range and maybe sometimes small ball 5.
Right.
We'll see what Mike Malone concocts up there now with the addition of him. But that's a good signing. The fit
yeah.
there in Denver was really good. I think the fit for Aaron Gordon in Portland also would have been pretty good. And the Celtics literally need anything that can live or walk, but it's fine. They're not going to do anything.
This was his 7th year with the Magic. Aaron Gordon ranks in the top 10 in the Orlando Magic's franchise for rebounds, blocks, and games played.
Wow.
Magic hasn't had a great. I mean, they had Shaq.
That's what I heard. Yeah.
Penny.
Penny.
McGrady was there.
McGrady
for
was there.
A minute.
Yeah. Penny.
Yeah, I guess.
A
couple others.
Yeah.
They haven't had
I'm sorry,
great,
can you
great
tell me
franchise.
again what was given up?
Magic will send Gordon and Gary Clark to Denver for Gary Harris, RJ Hampton, and a first-round pick in 2025. That's a long time.
That's a long time, but I also think that's a better deal than Boston could have offered anyway, because Boston's young players, except for like Rob Will,
they didn't want to
they don't have like a lot
Kemba Walker or Marcus Smart.
Well, obviously, nobody's taking Kemba Walker. That's the thing. Like, the Celtics would try to shop them if they could, but no, he has no value. Nobody wants him, especially with the contract that he's on.
He looked good yesterday, though. Actually, like I said, I watched the second half of that Celtics game. When he's healthy and like confident, he's still really good.
Yeah,
That's
it's too hit or miss though. It's not consistent. It's not reliable, and he can't play on the backs either, just because of his knee management. So it's kind of like,
All right, so some Celtics for you.
Nothing.
Hey, no.
Whoa.
They got Evan.
Did they get Evan Fournier?
Yeah.
Okay, I am.
That's right.
Man, my ESPN notifications are slacking.
They are bad. They are bad. You did say before the show you wanted to get on Twitter. I told you no because there's a tweet for a new segment later in the show that I didn't want you to see. So, yes, they did get him. They gave up, let's see, 2 second-round picks.
Okay, that's fine. It's fine. It does not move
the
needle
up,
for me at
Jason
all.
Tatum,
additional scoring.
No.
But, yeah.
Not bad. I think that works.
It's fine. Again, I think, did they do anything with the player exception? Because I think that they're going to hold on to that and do something in the offseason. Mm-hmm. Rumblings seem to suggest that they are very confident that they can make a big splash trade, including that trade exception over the summer. But we'll see.
Okay. So, yeah, the Vucevic one that you mentioned, they traded, Magic traded Vucevic to the Bulls, which was the first blockbuster trade.
And that one's kind of out of nowhere. There wasn't a lot of
people
speculation or people. I don't think anyone mentioned Chicago in the running for really any sort of. I mean, Lonzo Ball.
They could use it.
I think Chicago's actually still trying to pursue Lonzo Ball based on what I read after the Vucevic news dropped.
Yeah, so that's happening, and that will be the Bulls are sending Wendell Carter and 2 first-round picks for Vucevic. Vucevic has been their best player for a couple seasons.
Orlando's actually getting some pretty good young people. Yeah,
some
not bad.
There.
I mean, everybody figured that they were going to be big sellers at the deadline.
Yeah, they had to blow it up. They just weren't doing anything with their current roster.
And they have so many players that could be so well utilized and so well, by so many other teams.
Teams, right. Cavs sent JaVale McGee to the Nuggets.
Yep.
This was yesterday, I think, or was it early this morning?
Earlier this morning.
Yeah, earlier this morning.
JaVale going back to Denver.
Isaiah Hartenstein and 2 future protected second-round picks. That's a good take for the Cavs. I don't know. I mean, I know JaVale McGee's having a fine year, but is he worth 2 second-round picks? I don't know.
I don't know.
Granted, second-round picks in the NBA are nothing to write home about, but
no, they're not.
So
I like Denver after the deadline. I don't know if they're going to do anything else, but man, I like the idea of them now. Yeah. Especially because their Achilles heel is defense, and Aaron Gordon's not going to solve everything, but he's certainly going to help, and we'll see if he's able to free up some of MPJ's defensive responsibilities and kind of free him up to just focus on offense. Yeah, I like it.
We're still waiting on the LaMarcus Aldridge buyout, or maybe even a trade.
Who cares?
Yeah, he's nothing. No one cares about the Spurs, which is really interesting to say. That's pretty much it for right now.
That's pretty good. That's pretty good. I mean, obviously the deadline always breeds action, but pretty good so far. I'm satisfied with.
We'll see what ends up happening the rest of the day. If anything breaks here in the next 20 minutes, we will let you know. My ESPN app is up and running, or my notifications are up and running for now.
Good for you.
So we'll see what happens. I do want to talk about LeBron. LeBron had a high ankle sprain a few nights ago, out indefinitely. That sucks. But it's not. People are talking like it's a huge deal, and just sit them, and they'll be fine for the playoffs. They'll get both him and Anthony Gordon.
Very easily could drop down to flirting with play-in seeding territory, though. So that could actually present itself as a problem. And I honestly don't think you can bet on Anthony Davis. I mean, how many times have we got to talk about the Achilles thing and try to come back from that? And I don't know if it's a lingering issue. You can give him a bunch of time off, but he's frequently injured anyway. He's a very fragile human being. It doesn't seem to like to play through any sort of pain. When he's hurt, he is injured. I don't know. I think it could actually be a big deal. I'm just kind of glad that this will stifle for now the LeBron MVP talk.
Right.
Embiid obviously had it, but that Embiid got injured, and so that'll kind of keep both of them at bay and maybe give Nikola Jokic a little bit more of the limelight, which he certainly deserves because he's been playing out of his goddamn mind this season, and he's one of my favorite players to watch in the NBA. Him along with Zion,
which is crazy.
I mean, he's just so much fun.
Jokic still doesn't quite fit today's NBA. He's not super athletic. He's kind of like he's shapen different, even like his body style, his body type is completely different than what the NBA looks for, and yet he's still shown that European players, no matter how the NBA changes, European players still continue to thrive in the NBA because Europe is so different. Yet, God, some of these guys who come over here are just absolute stars. I just wanted to point out that Tim Wilson rocks for having such a terrible taste in the greatest of all time conversation because he thinks LeBron's the greatest of all time. I have a question for you in regards to LeBron.
Okay,
you'd say Brady's the greatest of all time, right? In the NFL.
Oh yeah.
What do you think about is LeBron the greatest of all time right now?
I don't think so.
So what I always am going back to now that I've thought this through, Drew Brees statistically is the greatest of all time.
Correct.
But Tom Brady is seen as the GOAT.
Yes.
LeBron will finish statistically as the greatest player of all time, but will he get as many titles as Jordan? Probably not. Probably not. Yeah, no, so it depends on how you want to approach the conversation.
Right. I mean, you can look at it from so many different metrics, from so many different angles. You have to take into account that, like, sports science and taking care of your body in LeBron's era is so much further along and so much further advanced than
LeBron's body.
It's a pretty nice body. Than it was in Jordan's era, and I think that's something that you have to take into account. I don't know if there's anything that LeBron can do in these last however many seasons that he plays that's ultimately ever going to change my mind. And who knows? He could. Something absolutely spectacular could happen. He could carry a team to a finals win. Who knows? Nothing's out of the realm of possibility, but no, it's Jordan.
Cool. Just want to make sure. Yep. All right. Do you know who else is the greatest of all time?
Whoa, tell me.
I am so ready to tell you who the greatest of all time is. That is Lake City Hauling. Greatest of all time when it comes to hauling and junk removal and cleanup projects. Let Lake City Hauling help for any of those remodeling or cleanup projects. Save yourself a stressful trip to the dump by letting them haul the small and big items for you. They will remove it all. They will take your unwanted trash, branches, yard waste, furniture, appliances, and more. They do offer same-day pickup, and check out their 5-star awesome reviews on Google and see why customers continue to come back to Lake City Hauling time and time again. They offer junk removal, dumpster rentals, and demolition in the Kootenai County area. But do not worry, if you are outside of that area, just give them a call. See what they can do for you. Their number is 208-425-4130 to ask for more information, or check out their website here at lakecityhauling.com. Again, their phone number is 208-425-4130, and make sure you keep them in mind for all future cleanup, demolition, and hauling needs.
All righty.
Do it. They will haul it all. They will haul all of your junk. You know, some of the players who are getting traded in the NBA can be considered junk. Nice. They could haul them away.
All right.
Maybe.
Yeah. Or you can get a haul.
Do you know who is oh, wait, we got to Penny Hardaway for the Magic.
Yeah, I said that.
Mentioned.
Well, okay, yeah. I was going to say that was mentioned, yeah.
So, yeah, my buddy, my buddy Josh Geiger said Penny Hardaway with like 10 question marks saying, "Come on, man."
I don't know how many more times I had to say Penny. I don't know. It was like at least 2 or 3.
I don't know if he's saying, like, don't forget about Penny Hardaway. Or, like, if he's like, Penny Hardaway, like, why would you think he's a great player?
Oh. I mean, he definitely was a great player. Obviously, right. His injuries just derailed his career, which was unfortunate. But.
Very unfortunate. Yeah.
Okay.
So, yes, I know I have a meeting later. Thanks, phone. I love how it literally shows up on my phone, shows up on my computer, buzzes my wrist, and it's like, God, I'm going to just get like anxiety from all of these different notifications for the same exact thing.
Technology, man.
Do you know who also gives me anxiety?
Ooh.
Deshaun Watson. What is he doing? I don't know. Let's just say they are allegations. They are civil suits. Deshaun Watson has been accused of sexual harassment and assault by 16 women at this time. I think there are a possibility of 24 total. The same lawyer is representing all 16, possibly 24 Jane Does. They are allegations. They are civil, so it's a little bit different than a criminal investigation at this time. But they did say that some of the facts will be presented to police. So we'll see what happens there. But the fact that there are still – you just can't put yourself in that situation. Like, there's obviously – and it could be something as simple as making a comment or something, but, like, you can't do that. Like you got to be better than that.
Okay, so I kind of have a take here.
Yeah,
I'm
here for it.
Conspiracy Andrew coming out. Okay, so I want to start off by, if these are in fact true, I'm not trying to absolve him of any responsibility or accountability. I'm not trying to diminish what these women had to suffer and survive through. If these things were true, we obviously don't know. There are only probably a handful of people in the world that actually know what transpired. I think the timing of it is a little interesting, and I almost wonder, because of the relationship that Deshaun has in defiantly refusing, obviously we'll see what happens this season, to play for the Texans organization, and just the stalemate that it is between the two of them. I don't know. Do you think that perhaps, Texas, a lot of money, maybe some stakeholders in the team, maybe devised a plot to absolutely drag his name through the mud because they have no other power in this situation? Or I don't know. I'm not saying that's the thing. It just came to mind because I think the timing of it is a little curious, and I don't know. Strange things happen.
It does, and I'm not going to say that's the wrong take, because we've seen this before. We've seen different circumstances where high-profile people, on a different scale, you see it with politicians, you see it with other athletes, of timing where. Look at this last presidential election. There were a ton of stuff coming out about Joe Biden that really surfaced strongly right when he was running for president. Now, again, without saying that these are all false allegations, none of this stuff ever happened. It is a very weird time for an organization who didn't have any power. They had no power as to if Deshaun Watson was ever going to play a snap for the Houston Texans. Now there's no trade value for Deshaun Watson, which is a bargain for the Texans, who wanted him to stay. Now they can't trade him, and Watson now knows that. Now he has no other choice than to play, if he even gets to play.
If he gets to play, I don't know. He might end up on the exempt list.
With 24 women end up coming, because there are a couple. Goal! 35th minute. Nice. Yeah, I told you it was going to happen. I scared you.
Still wasn't prepared.
Yeah, you still weren't prepared. What's really unfortunate is the camera wasn't on both of us, because you jumped. I did scare you. It was Sergio Dest, who actually a very top upcoming U.S. prospect who could have played for the Netherlands or one other team. He was born in the Netherlands. His parents were American. But he's a defensive player, so that's interesting.
Cool.
Anyway.
Must have been a set piece.
There's a very good shot at that.
But yeah, so it sounds like you're kind of understanding where I'm coming from
definitely.
And proposing a theory, and it is just that, a theory.
Right.
But there are just a couple of things that are all kind of working together that would lead me to believe it's not completely unfathomable. And stranger things have happened, and there's so much that happens in every walk of life and every facet of life on this planet that we have and will never have any idea about. That's really weird and would be disconcerting if the public knew about it. So.
Yeah, not good for him either way.
No, it's not.
Andy Dalton. We'll talk a little bit of Andy Dalton real quick. The Chicago Bears signed Andy Dalton after he was not able to be after the Bears could not get Russell Wilson from Seattle.
QB1. The
Red Rifle, who Jim Nantz so hilariously accidentally called him the Red Rocket, which is super funny. So, he is now a member of the Chicago Bears, who will be going as their QB1 moving forward.
Yeah, there might be a discrepancy between the social media department and the actual team.
Yeah. Oh, no, for sure.
And coaching staff, but we'll see.
Well, yeah, because social media was very quick to label Andy Dalton as QB1. But this isn't the first time they have labeled a QB1 in Chicago. Over the last year, specifically, they have done it 3 times.
Yep.
With Nick Foles, Mitchell Trubisky, and now Andy Dalton. You got the 3 horsemen there, all 3 of them, not QB1s, and that's what happens.
Yeah,
unfortunately. So we actually have someone on our Twitch feed.
Whoa.
Who sent out a little comment. Blindside1234 seems awfully suspicious, almost like it's somebody who has just created a fake account just to make fun of you.
It's probably Kevin Durant.
Is the guy on the left, which would be you? Okay. You're on my right, but is the guy on the left Prince Harry's brother?
If I had at least $5 for every time someone, we've talked about this episodes back. It's always Ed Sheeran, Prince Harry, and Carson Wentz. None of which are flattering, but you know what? All redheads look alike, so I get it.
That is pretty funny. I was going to say yesterday on Twitter, and I wasn't sure how people would take it, but I'll say it on the show. The nice thing about Andy Dalton, though, being a Chicago Bear, is the orange trim accents his features very nicely.
Dude, he's looked like a god in every uniform that he's played in the NFL. I thought the contrast when he was with the Cowboys, I thought that looked good. Yeah. This Bears is going to be good.
Right. He was obviously good in Cincinnati.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, thanks for holding it down, Dalton. Nice red hair. Good red hair.
Yeah, well, yeah, whatever.
And he got eyebrows, which I was not fortunate enough to get. But
do you know who else doesn't have eyebrows?
I digress.
Mark Few doesn't really have eyebrows.
Oh, yeah, he doesn't. Yeah, he's kind of sandy.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting. So real quick, we're going to go over a little bit of NFL free agency. I only have a couple minutes to go over it. But we already talked a little bit about it last week. There's not much really happened. The Rams signed Deshaun Jackson.
It's like the second wave of like the smaller.
Right, so we're getting a couple small things. Mm-hmm. Rams signed Deshaun Jackson. If he's healthy, not a bad pickup. Good, yeah. But when's the last year he was healthy? Matt Stafford would love to have a nice, healthy Deshaun Jackson to launch the ball 50 yards downfield. Mm-hmm. That's a possibility. Bears signed a linebacker. Texans signed Dante Moncrief to fill the hole left by Will Fuller. Dante Moncrief was a former first-round draft pick who flamed out with the Colts. He's not very good, so now you have
flamed Moncrief. Out with the Colts, flamed out with the Jags, flamed out with the Steelers.
He hasn't really done anything. So now he's with Brandon Cooks, Randall Cobb, and Kiki Kute.
All right. Kuti.
Texans signed former decent corners, Desmond King, Vernon Hargreaves. Jets signed Sheldon Rankins. I mean, there's just not much going on here. The only other thing that happened that was of interest to people who may be watching this is the Seahawks had a couple moves here over in the second wave. They re-signed former Idaho defensive end, I guess, if you want to say. Mm-hmm. And I'm completely... Oh, Benson Mayowa. There we go. Who actually the Seahawks got as an undrafted free agent out of college from Idaho. He ended up going to the Raiders, came back to Seattle. Mm. Had a decently productive season last year. I want to say he had 8-ish sacks. Probably.
I think he was working through injury for a chunk of the season there, too.
Especially, I think, the third quarter of the season.
Yeah.
They did end up signing 49ers leading sack man from a year ago, Kerry Hyder, who came on strong. Before that, he had never had more, I think, than 2 sacks in a season.
That was a pretty good signing, especially for the value there. Especially for the value there. It would be cool if they're able to sign Dunlap. I don't know if they're going to be able to, based on like what he would be going for. Mm-hmm. But I also don't think it's completely off the table.
Yep.
They've had a pretty typical Seahawks offseason. I'd say they've been pretty surgical.
They've gotten better.
Yeah, they've made the moves that they've needed to make and addressed situations and aspects of that roster that needed addressing. And I don't know. We'll see how the draft goes. I mean, they might only end up with like 4 or 5 picks.
They only have 3 right now. We'll see.
Well, I know. Yeah,
they like to.
They usually do. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But I don't. It doesn't change my outlook drastically for their 2021 campaign. However, I do like what they've done, and I don't think that you can really ask for too much more or be upset with the moves that they've made.
I agree. I agree for sure. We'll see what ends up happening with, like you mentioned, Carlos Dunlap. We'll see what happens in the draft. We'll see if they need a third wide receiver. They did lose David Moore, so we will have to see.
Freddie Swain. He played really well last year in a rookie season.
Yeah, he did. He's a little small though. They would like, what would be really cool is if, I guess Wilson still wants Antonio Brown. Would you accept Antonio Brown onto the Seahawks? Would that be cool?
I guess you might as well add to the circus.
Might as well, right?
Yep.
Let's go for it. If Russell Wilson wants him, if it keeps him happy, might as well. But the only way he's probably going to get him is if Russell Wilson agrees to restructure his contract. So we have a nice little back and forth going on here. All right. You have a jabroni for me?
Yeah.
Actually, wait. Before I get to that, I do want to mention one thing. So just announced were new Seattle Sounders jerseys.
Oh.
They did just drop today. It is not their primary jersey. It is their secondary kit, which they will wear as like an alternate. Any guesses as to what that means? Like, why did they pick that kind of design?
Do you have an answer?
I do.
No.
So Seattle, over the past, people have speculated that former or past alternate jerseys have gone off of former Seattle icons, specifically in the music industry.
Oh,
they're going with some Jimi Hendrix Purple Haze here. That's pretty sweet. That's a pretty awesome story.
I don't know. Did someone dump oil in the Puget Sound?
And then this is what we get? No. So, yeah, they actually is a Jimi Hendrix-inspired secondary kit for this next season with, it's the Purple Haze pretty much. I think that's cool. Yep. And they have the orange, that bandana he always wore that was just full of acid. Just kept him going. So that's sweet. Cool on the Sounders. Their season actually kicks off here in a couple weeks. which is crazy because it felt like it just ended.
Yeah, seriously.
But they start, I think, on August 14th. Mariners also next week, I think, is opening day.
Yeah,
already.
it is.
So a lot of sports coming around here. We'll have more to talk about because it has been a little slow. Jabroni time now.
Okay.
Give it to me.
So Draymond Green was being Draymond Green. Came out on Twitter. You'll see here in just a moment when it comes up. Print's pretty small, but basically he just, I don't know, kind of crowned himself as the best defender to ever play in the NBA. And Tony Allen, one of the best defenders that's ever played in the NBA. He kind of took issue with that and was kind of curious about crowning himself and stamping himself as opposed to, other people doing it.
It's never good when you do it yourself.
No, it's not. And then Draymond took like the very weak, very predictable low road and basically said that, he worked Tony Allen's ass on his way to his first title, but it's like, okay, back in 2015, Tony Allen was also like on his last legs. Yeah. Like that was the twilight of his career, and that's putting it nicely. Yeah, so to do that and not like consider what Tony was throughout the duration of his career in his younger days and in his prime, and to be dismissive of that is just it's typical. It's but it's an NBA beef. Draymond. It's an NBA Twitter beef, so you'd expect nothing less. But and Tony clapped back by saying like, hey, call Clay because. You guys are only putting out like 4 defenders on the court right now. So Draymond just saying Draymond things. I think he's going to be a good TV personality, and I'm pretty sure like he's probably already got something lined up with TNT and Inside the NBA. But I hate listening to his voice. His voice absolutely grinds my gears. Draymond's.
Oh, okay, yeah.
It sounds like he's got to clear his throat all the time, and he just never does it. He's up there with like most punchable faces for sure.
Oh, yeah, Draymond sucks. Nobody likes Draymond Green.
That's not true. I mean, I like him and I respect him as a player, but I think
he's a little overrated. Like for the people who like Draymond Green and like say like, oh, look how good he is. It's like, I mean, yeah. He was like maybe their third best player on the
championship. He was like pretty damn good for like a long time, and he's still good. He's more of a
3 years.
He had like a 3-year stretch that was pretty much unparalleled by anybody else in the NBA. He was getting a lot of like
triple-double type numbers. He was dishing out assists, grabbing a lot of rebounds, scoring
defensive player of the year.
Right.
No, he's definitely a damn good player, and he's going to end up in the NBA Hall of Fame, or not the NBA Hall of Fame basketball.
He's a douche.
All right,
it's fine though. Like NBA, that's what the NBA thrives on. Is douches, right? I mean, it's true. Compared to every other sports league, at least.
Sure. Yeah. However you want to coin that.
But that does give the NBA more ratings and more views. So
right. It's a soap opera.
It is.
More so than any other league. Yeah.
Give and take for sure. Mm-hmm. Yeah, not the greatest defensive player of all time. And then the game so he said that the day of they had a game, and then ESPN actually literally put together highlights of that game where he just sucked on the defense.
Yeah, he just got cooked.
He just got wrecked all over the court. So that was pretty funny. So I have 2 jabronis.
Nice.
First, we'll start off with the NCAA. I appreciate what the NCAA does for student athletes. They give them scholarships. They donate a bunch of money to universities around the country. The one thing they haven't quite figured out yet, though, is how to deal with the name, image, likeness debate for these college athletes. Why is it so hard to allow a player to make money off of his face?
I don't know, man. NCAA.
The NCAA says it affects their amateurism, when in fact a lot of these players, I shouldn't say a lot, some of these players already have deals done with Nike, Under Armour, whoever, pick your shoe. Zion, everybody knew he was going to Nike.
Yeah.
This was going to happen. Everybody knew it. And yet the NCAA pretends that they care about amateurism. So a donut shop called Glazed and Confused, which is pretty funny.
Yeah, that's good.
A local donut shop wanted to promote Syracuse's run to the Sweet 16. They decided to put Jim Boeheim's son, Buddy, current player, on Syracuse. Decided to put Buddy Boeheim on their donut so you could bite right through his face if you wanted to, which is a little morbid and interesting, but I'm here for it. Glazed and Confused at 211 North Clinton. They wanted to donate every single dollar earned in profit off of these donuts to the Boys and Girls Club of Syracuse. NCAA comes through and says, no, you can't do that. He can't donate to charity. That's a stupid idea. So they decided to take his face off and wanted to instead, they wanted to say, where is it here? They wanted to use like his nickname. I don't remember what his nickname was. They wanted just to use a phrase, essentially. And then Syracuse said probably can't do that either. The NCAA won't like it. So instead of using anything with Buddy Boeheim, you get to bite through Jim Boeheim's face now. There's no name and image likeness debate to be had about Jim Boeheim. So instead of Buddy, you get to bite through his 70-year-old dad's face and his big old glasses from back in the day. I'm here for it. Money's still going to the Boys and Girls Club, so that's cool. But that's NCAA is a jabroni for not allowing. And this is not the first time people have tried to donate profits to charities based off of college athletes, but you can't do it.
Yeah.
Can't do it.
Yeah, we don't have enough time to talk about the NCAA.
My other jabroni. So each week I ask some buddies to send me a few words to sneak into the show. If you couldn't tell,
hadn't noticed. No.
If you hadn't noticed, and I asked again last night for some words, and my buddy Max Shepard is a jabroni because he suggested me to use 2 words that I've already used on the show: soliloquy and impotent.
Thanks for watching.
So instead of that, I will use one more word for him and call the NCAA a gubbins. Which essentially means little to no value. Their little value is the fact that they provide scholarships. That's about it.
Yes. Okay.
Cool. Yeah. Oh, yeah. So new segment on the show. Sports fact of the week.
Wait, are we doing this before closing time?
Yep.
Oh.
Yeah, closing time will still wrap up the show. So sports fact of the week, something you may or may not know. I'm going to hope that you don't know.
Okay.
I just found this out this morning. Terrell T. Sizzle Suggs from Ball So Hard University. First cousins, I think definitely cousins, though, of Jalen Suggs.
I did not know that.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh.
That's pretty interesting. Like, you never know why. Like, you just never think about it.
Huh. Okay. Yeah,
Suggs,
I did not know that.
Future future NFL Hall of Famer, former NFL star, currently a free agent, did win or could have won a ring with the Chiefs last year, except the Chiefs suck. They don't suck, but they did
really
lose.
Bad.
So that is my sports fact of the week.
Okay, nice fact.
All right, closing time.
Alrighty, you want me to go?
Yeah, Joel Oakland said that Draymond Green is the best defender ever in the NBA. He's just saying that. Oh, no, he said source Draymond Green.
Source Draymond Green, yeah. Perfect.
Yep.
Checks out. Okay, so I learned a little something. I don't know if this is a fact to you, but in order to be eligible for the Pro Football Hall of Fame, you have to have made at least 1 Pro Bowl throughout your career.
I saw that. Is that true?
I don't know. I didn't follow up. I didn't do my investigative due diligence, but I saw it on Twitter, so it must be true, right?
Yep, exactly.
But anyway, so this tweet was surrounding Ryan Fitzpatrick. Ryan Fitzpatrick is now playing for his 9th team, I believe. So basically, I think so Bill Simmons did an interesting thing. Bill Simmons being one of the best living basketball historians.
Yep.
Wrote the book of basketball, is incredibly knowledgeable, dating all the way back to like the 50s and 60s basketball. He did a pantheon, a pyramid, basically a tier system of the Hall of Fame. And I kind of think that we should implement something similar to the NFL because there is a place for guys like Ryan Fitzpatrick that come off the bench, that light it up, that just breathe a little breath of chaotic fresh air into the league. A lot of good storylines. Guys like Jeff Garcia, Trent Dilfers, like Jim Harbaugh's, Frank Reich's, guys that just come off the bench, fill in for injured quarterbacks, and you might not end up winning the game, but it's going to be chaotic. It's going to be fun. It's going to be there is something of value for those kinds of quarterbacks specifically in the NFL and what they've been for the NFL. And I don't know. I just think that there should be a little pocket, at least of acknowledgement or appreciation for guys like that. And obviously the current era is Ryan Fitzpatrick. And who better? And Ryan Fitzpatrick, how could you not love any and everything about him? So I do think it's worth kind of discussing if, there were, tiers or different segments or parts of the Hall of Fame that, gave acknowledgement and appreciation for different things.
Right, I agree.
Anyway.
No, I agree. Fitzpatrick's had a very storied career. Fitzmagic has definitely...
Did you know he went to Harvard?
I did know that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he's a smart guy. We had a guy who said, yo, man, Lakers, yes, at the start of the show.
Probably not right now. Check back in a couple months.
We'll check back. MC Whippy, new Facebook account.
Nice.
But he commented saying, hello there. He said, no offense. It's a great start. But the guy on the left, is you again.
Yeah. All right, catching strays.
Looks like a tech guy.
Okay. I'll take
It's not bad. I mean, it could be much worse.
That could be a lot worse.
And the guy on the right looks like a person who goes to a match and drinks beer.
To a match.
He must be a soccer guy.
Yeah,
it's
I guess
definitely
so.
Or cricket or soccer. Could be both.
Yeah, or a producer for a really successful company.
Yeah,
one of those. Interesting.
That's pretty funny. I'm here. I'm definitely here for it. MC Whippy, welcome to the show. We'll gladly do this just for you moving forward.
Yeah. All right.
For tech guy and beer drinker. That's awesome.
All right. I thought I was going to be a lot more mad, but I'm not.
That's really
I got no qualms.
Very funny. Closing time for me. Mine is New England Patriots. I never thought I'd have a pro thing to say about the New England Patriots, but Patriots reserve offensive tackle Justin Herron, what an awesome name, was honored as a hero by the Tempe in Arizona Police Department on Wednesday for helping to stop an attempted sexual assault in a park 4 days earlier.
And it was against like a 70-year-old woman, right?
Oh, yeah.
Like, Jesus Christ, people.
A 30-year-old suspect was seen Saturday in a park pushing a 71-year-old retired teacher to the ground. That's when this massive Justin Herron, who is, let's get his nice size here.
I love that they have to flesh out what her former career was.
I know, right? I don't know what that has to do with it at all.
Yeah,
6'5", 300-pound Justin Herron steps in with his buddy Murray Rogers and essentially pinned this guy to the ground until police arrived. Awesome job, Justin Herron. Go Patriots. That was awesome. The police department gave him and Rogers an outstanding citizen certificate.
Nice.
And yeah, awesome, because if they wouldn't have been there, that would be bad news and would make the news in a very bad way. Mm-hmm. So this is actually in a good way. Good on them.
Thanks for rewriting that, Justin.
Yeah. Cool.
Very good.
MC Whippy said see him.
Doubt it.
Yeah, he's checking out.
Okay, cool.
All right. That was the Max Strong episode of The Locker Room, number 38.
We'll come back with the Willie Parker episode next week. How you like that?
Yeah, that wasn't bad. That was not too bad. Do you have that planned, or you already knew that?
No, just off the cuff, and I figured because we're big Steelers fans, I'd
I guess so.
give them a shout-out.
Big Steeler guys for some reason. So we will see you again here next week, same time, same place. We'll have the Elite Final Four matchup set. We'll go over our Final Four picks, National Championship picks. I'm picking just did you pick the Zags, I'm guessing, to win it all at the beginning?
I did. Not with a lot of conviction, but I did.
Yeah, I hate the Zags too. We'll see what happens. No, it's fine. We'll see what happens. We'll go over the picks. We should have some Mariners talk that day because their season will kick off. And we'll just see what happens with the NBA, all this trade stuff going on.
Can't wait to do it all again.
It's gonna be a lot of fun.
All right.
We'll see if MC Whippy shows up again. I'd like to see him more.
I don't think he's got the gall for it.
Oh, we'll see. All right, we'll see you again next week, same time, same place. The Locker Room. I am your host, Justin Reed, alongside Andrew Tenney. Have a nice weekend.
Thanks for watching The Locker Room on Spokane Talks. Check us out on Facebook as well as our other platforms. We want to hear from you. Join the conversation by emailing us at info@SpokaneTalksOnline.com. And for more sports news, opinions, and content, follow Justin and me on